So today we're going to be talking about social characteristics of children or individuals with ASD. So I'm going to be talking about three different areas: behavioral, what you may see someone do, and then sensory, what kind of social withdrawal happens because of sensory issues, and language, the lack of language, the kind of withdrawal that you might see because of the lack of language. So, some of the social characteristics that you may notice early on are these. You will see some of these signs early on as infants. They don't have social warm gaze. They don't have social smiles. You know how when you look at a baby, they look back at you and they smile. They don't have that. So, and that would be signs that they may have autism, early signs that they may have autism. They don't vocalize. They don't respond to their name. They avoid eye contact. They have lack of social interest. They don't point and look at objects with their caregiver or others. They prefer not to be held. They have difficulty relating to others and expressing their needs. They have delayed language, and they tend to repeat words, echolalia. So those are some early signs you might see. Social behavior. Some social behavior that you may see is obsessions with specific content and limits interaction with others, lack of social interaction and play, tantruming due to not being able to communicate with others. So those are some behaviors that you may see. Sensory, limits interaction due to auditory dysfunction, limits interaction due to tactile dysfunction, limits interaction due to visual dysfunction, and they tend to stay by themselves to help regulate their environment and control what sensory input they can handle. So they tend to isolate themselves. Language and communication. Without some sort of language, you cannot be social. It's very challenging for one to be social without having language. Without language, you can't communicate. Without communication, you cannot interact with others, and you tend to isolate yourselves. Without language or communication, you will see tantruming because the inability to communicate their wants and needs. Language. The language tends to be idiosyncratic. They tend to have unusual prosody. They tend to have echolalia, and they can have a language regression and or a lack of progression. And they tend to have impaired expressive and receptive language. Communication. Communication deficits are one of the core symptoms of ASD. Less likely to initiate communication than their peers. Their communication consists of irrelevant details, inappropriate topic shifts, preoccupation with specific topics, lack of reciprocal exchange, tend to sound scripted or robotic. Very concrete communication. So for social, they have decrease of joint attention and social cues. Regression in play, not interested in anything social, mostly play by themselves. They can parallel play, but have difficulty engaging with others. In my observation, there are a few things that I did not see. First of all, the child that I observed was at preschool age, so I did not see any of those early signs that you might find in an infant. And then also I didn't see any tantruming. I didn't see a lot of social withdrawal due to sensory dysfunction. And I didn't see a lot of language being idiosyncratic and unusual prosody, only because the child was nonverbal. So those are some things that I did not see in my observations. Where may I have seen these social characteristics? I might have seen them if I had gone into their home with a less structured environment. I may have seen more tantruming. And social withdrawal due to sensory would have been seen more if there was more stimulation in the environment. I didn't have in my observation times, I did not have a lot of auditory or tactile or a lot of commotion going on in the room, so I did not see the sensory dysfunction. And I did not see that idiosyncratic or unusual prosody because the child only repeats words. The student doesn't have any spontaneous language, he only repeats words. So I did not see that in my observation. And also, I have attached my references to where I got some of my facts and information. Thanks.